right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Ken Rice, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is where we do sports every single night of the week. 7 nights, we're talking sports, wanting your opinions at 412-575-2600. You can hit us up on Twitter or X. It's at KDPomp, at the Pony Express. As we go up to 93.7 The Fan, Andrew Fillipponi is there. And Pony, the big thing today, we'll get to the Pirates in a second, was Mike Tomlin with his first press conference of the new year. And the big topic was Cam Heyward, who practiced Monday. He's been back at practice. There's no evidence there's anything new with the contract situation. Cam Heyward went on his podcast and said, when asked, are you going to play on Sunday? And his answer was, we'll see. That same question was posed to Mike Tomlin. His answer was, I certainly expect him to play. So how do you think this resolves itself? I, for the longest time, and I'm going to stick to this, think that it will get resolved somehow, some way, or it won't. Whatever the case, I expect Cam Heyward to play. Do you?
Well, I think as long as the Steelers between now and 1 o'clock on Sunday move up some of that money from 2026 to 2025 like they did with Antonio Brown a decade ago, as long as that happens, I think he will be out there. And I still think he's holding out hope for it, that it happened. If he sits against the Jets, you're down Heyward, you're down Harmon, and Mike Tomlin said this is a team that wants to run the ball right at you with their running backs and Justin Fields. So this is going to be the most leverage he ever has potentially, Bob, is to sit out this one game against the Jets.
And yet, we both know Cam pretty well. I think, he has been an ideal citizen, a guy who's put a lot of time and effort into the Heyward house. He's tried to help as many people as he can. He's an outstanding player. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But this is also a guy who treasures his legacy. And I wonder how much of this, if it came right down to it, between taking this stand and affecting your legacy. I still think his legacy is intact, but it will hurt it if he should do this and they lose that game.
No doubt. And the thing he's got to be conscious of, he's got a media career that he started. And a lot of his podcast listeners are Steelers fans. Cam does an awesome job on there. I've listened a lot. But let's face it, other than Ohio State and Steelers fans, he's not having fans all over the country hang on his every word. Okay, he knows where his bread is buttered. It's with Steelers fans. So you alienate those people, my opinion is, he could potentially do damage to his post-NFL career. And I wouldn't want to jeopardize that if I were him over a couple $1 million. Now, that's easy for me to say because I'm not putting my body on the line every Sunday like he is. But I would be cognizant of that. Yeah, he feels like he's underpaid. Yeah, he's ticked off about it. But the fans, for the most part, seem to be against him on this one. And he might, Bob, this might blow up in his face doubly. He might not get his money. And because of the things he said this offseason, fans might still hold that against him for a while.
Yeah, I just think he's going to play. So we'll see how it happens on Sunday. But they do need him because Derek Harmon is out with that MCL sprain. And, they've been not good against the run. And this team is going to do it.
So what are you predicting, Bob? You think they give him money or you think he just sucks it up and plays? What do you think it is? What's your prediction?
I think whatever happens or doesn't happen, he will play. I think if he's going to stare them down, he may lose that stare down. I don't know.
But if you had to guess, do you think they give him more money or no?
At this point, I think they will. The so-called sweetener,
Okay.
I'm not sure how much that would be and how much he needs to make it that work. But, again, I still think when it comes right down to it, he's going to play. He's a defensive captain. He knows what that means. So regardless, if he loses that battle, I still think he'll play. So we'll see how that goes. We have a lot more to get into, including Jaylen Warren. He's RB1, but who is RB3? It's not who you might think. We'll get into that, talk about Calvin Austin, other things, and we have those Pirate highlights to show you as they are now 50 and 51 under Donnie Kelly, which leads to a lot of interesting tweets we have here. Andrew, I'm going to read some of those, and we'll open up the phone lines. It's 412-575-2600. We're just getting started, so call us. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week right here on KDKA+. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from the Steelers, reminding everyone it was happy birthday, Terry Bradshaw, the 4-time Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer. Hope he's doing well out there in Los Angeles, getting set for another season on Fox. Andrew, I want to talk about Jaylen Warren. He got a new contract. I was a little surprised by that because, you know, they had that offer to him and they expanded it to include what they have, $17 million over the next 3 years. I think 11 or 12 guaranteed. He hasn't been a starter. Now he is a starter. They have Caleb Johnson listed as a number 3. What do you expect rotation-wise coming into this game? I still think Jaylen Warren will get the lion's share of it, but I still think they're better off with using other guys more than just one guy.
Well, I've always been a running back by committee advocate. For many years, Mike Tomlin was against that. He's come around to my way of thinking. And one of the reasons why I've always felt that way is because durability is a concern with running backs, attrition, and I think it keeps guys fresh and it keeps defenses second-guessing. Now, he says it makes them predictable because if this guy goes into the game, it might make it seem like they're more likely to run it or throw it, whatever. I like having multiple weapons back there, and I think Jaylen Warren is the best of the 3 they have. 2 years ago, I thought he was outstanding. Last year, I thought he took a little bit of a step back. But now it's going to be his job, and he knows that, and he's getting paid to be the guy too. So I like the way he hits holes. I like the way he steps up in pass protection. I like the way he catches the ball out of the backfield. He's a threat to hit a big play every time he touches the ball. And the only negatives that come with that, Bob, is that he gets dinged up a lot and he'll put the ball on the ground.
Right.
But I think he's going to show this year that he is an above-average running back, and I don't think running back will be a problem for the Steelers this year. I'm more concerned about their offensive line, their wide receiver 2 position, and whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to look like a 41-year-old quarterback this year.
Especially this week, they have the Jets, which, you know, Quentin Williams and company, they got some players, and they're going to challenge that offensive line specifically, and we'll see what happens to the 2 tackles. The Jets are similar. They have 2 tackles, number 1 picks back-to-back years, and we'll see what T.J. Watt and company can do against them. Get to the Pirates in a second, but right now let's get to the phone lines at 412-575-2600. By the way, you see our Penn West University, KDKA.com Connect question of the night. Do you think Cam Heyward will play on Sunday? Most of you have said yes on that. Let's find out what Kirk in Manor has to say. Hey, Kirk, what's up?
Hey, man, how are you guys tonight?
Good.
Hello again. But I'm just telling you, shouldn't he honor his contract, and should he not show up and play ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Think about it.
Okay, what?
No, think about it. He should show up and pay for what he got paid for.
And that's the thing about this. That was our caller of the night, brought to you by Number One Cochran Ponies. He's been paid. You know, and the thing about Cam here that's a little surprising is that he claims this has been going on since February. If that's the case, he's made no inroads whatsoever to the point where he had to hold in and then came back to practice. And I just wonder, you know, how this thing is going to end. I think he will play. Whether or not it's with a new amount of money or not, I still think he'll play. You seem to think they'll make a sweetener. But when they do that, they've done it only once, I think, before. If they do that, it opens up a different can of worms.
Well, it opened up a can of worms 10 years ago, and it took 10 years for it to happen again. And I think that Antonio Brown is clearly one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, even though he didn't have great longevity because he lost his mind. When he was in his prime with the Steelers, he was one of the best to ever do it. Cam Heyward has played, he's logged more games as a Steelers defensive player than Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, Joe Green, anybody ever. So to me, you say, well, you know, people might argue, well, now anybody's going to ask for it. Well, not everybody's Antonio Brown or Cam Heyward. If another Hall of Famer comes around and asks for it, then we can handle it then. They might have one other guy like that on their entire roster. That's T.J. Watt, and he just got a brand new contract. So I really don't see this as a potential problem where if they move up money, well, now all of a sudden what? You're going to have Deshaun Elliott asking for more money? Sorry, he's not in the same stratosphere as Cam Heyward.
I agree with that totally, and that's why I think the sweetener, that's what I've said from the beginning, that it'll happen, but I think even if it doesn't, Cam Heyward would play. Want to hear from you. Also got the Pirates now, and we'll tell you about what Don Kelly has done now. It's 50-51, his record, which is substantially better than what we've seen over the last 101 from Derek Shelton. They won tonight, and Ryan Zedek says, will a new GM for the Pirates want to bring in their own manager, or do you think they will retain Don Kelly? I think Kelly will be here I'm not so sure about Cherington, although the way this is going, it seems like he'll get one more year. I don't think there's an extension, but it seems to me they're going to keep things in place, hoping these pitchers continue, and then the offseason will determine beyond that.
Yeah, Donnie Kelly, I think, is a lock to come back, regardless
Even
of what
with a new
happens with
GM?
Ben Cherington.
Okay.
I do think so. The way the contract's written, my understanding is that, he's still going to be under contract for next year. And I think the owner of the team likes that there's a kid here from Pittsburgh who's done a pretty good job. I mean, to have a 500 record after the guy before you was driving the team into the ground, I think probably reflects well on him. So I believe he'll be back. Bob, it's not out of the question that they get to 76 wins again now.
I know.
If they go 14-9 over their final 23 games, they're going to get to 76 wins. And if that happens, then I think, even though no progress will have been made record-wise, I think Cherington's going to say, look at our minor league teams, look at Connor Griffin, look at Skeens again this year, look at Bubba Chandler, what he did.
Braxton
look at these other, Braxton Ashcraft, and I think he's going to survive it. I do. I mean, I really think Nutting said when he fired Derek Shelton, the reason why he didn't get rid of Cherington too is he didn't want to blow the whole thing up. If this team gives him a reason to not blow the whole thing up with good pitching and a 500 record, I think everybody stays, Bob, and we get Ben Cherington back in 2026.
And then it has to be, what have you done next year? It comes right down to that, and the progress has to be substantial. It has to result in a playoff, in my opinion, for him to retain another year after that or a longer-term deal. Let's go back to the lines. We have Kevin in Chippewa. Kevin, thanks for joining us. What's up?
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Today's call with that foul tip, and you could see the umpire's eyes close, but me being an umpire, I used to be an umpire for even college and high school. Like, you have to hear that foul tip, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what happened there. So
you didn't hear it.
I just want to hear what you guys think about that.
I think that's a good call, and thanks for making it for us, because I think in that case, Will Smith got a gift. He got another opportunity to swing, and he had an RBI after that. And I think that's something that if you're going to have review and replay and all this stuff, Andrew, then this is prime example. And they seem to always look for an example that's pretty obvious, and this is an obvious one that they missed. And I don't blame the umpire. Sometimes it's so fast you don't know what's going on. You have to hear it. If you don't hear it, it should have been a strike three. Davis did a good job to hang on to that.
Yeah, and his defense has improved a lot. He finally got a hit with a runner in scoring position. He had the third longest drought by a hitter in the entire history of Major League Baseball. He was 0 for his last 41. Well, I already have.
You have?
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, don't you think they have too? I mean, they traded for Flores. They gave David Bednar away.
Flores is no guarantee either. I mean, people make it sound like he was acquired to be.
Well, then why trade David Bednar for him?
I don't know why. I would have wanted something in addition to what they did get, but I'm talking about something better than that. Maybe they have, but it seems to me that I still think his defense has improved, where I don't think anyone would have thought his defense would be the reason he's playing, number one, based on how it started. If his offense should follow suit in the same sort of way, and I don't know if it can, I'm not going to give up on him just yet.
Well, I've given up on him as a number one pick caliber player, Bob. I mean, haven't you? I mean, you think that there's an all-star player in there?
No. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to give up on somebody who I still think can develop. He's shown me that he can develop on maybe the hardest part of what his game is, and that's handling pitchers, doing what he's done. I see significant progress there, and if that should help him as a hitter, who knows? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I'm not looking at him as an all-star. If you're looking at 1-1 as Hall of Famer, all-star, regular 10, that's not going to happen. I agree with you there. We got to go to a break. Andrew will be coming back. More calls on the way. We'll squeeze them in. We have Alan and Scott. We'll try to get to you guys next right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Welcome back. Time to squeeze one more call in. That would be Scott in Lebanon County. What's up, Scott? How are you?
Hi, Pomp. I'm going to make this short since we're running out of time here. Based on the fact that the Penguins have been struggling the past 3 seasons, I expect them to finish the 25-26 season with the worst record at around 50 or so losses. Would you agree on that?
I don't think they get that bad. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think they're going to find themselves in a lottery situation, Andrew. I don't know. They have the top line. They're top line heavy, of course. They need other things to happen for them. Their defense, to me, is still very much a question mark, and I wonder about Erik Karlsson at this point.
Well, I saw Kyle Dubas at the home plate club when his hometown Blue Jays were around last week, and I wanted, while he was getting some ice cream, to go up to him and say, Kyle, can you do something? I mean, what's going on here? Erik Karlsson's still on the team. Brian Rust and Ryan Raquel didn't get traded. But, I don't really like to bother people in those situations, Bob. So
I agree.
I let sleeping dogs lie there. I wanted to, but I showed restraint.
Real quick, I was in favor of trading some of those guys to get more. I don't think, holding them, I know why they do it, because to play on Sidney Crosby's line. But either you're all in on this or you're not.
Yeah. Well, I'm all in on you, Bob. And I know you're all in on the Steelers this year. You picked them to go 10-7.
What did you say there? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Okay.
I said, I know you're all in on the Steelers this year. You picked them to go 10-7, Bob.
10-7. Okay. We're out of time. Thanks, Andrew. We'll see you again tomorrow night.
See you, Bob.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow.